Welcome ladies and gentlemen to another casted game, and today we have 01 playing in the southeast corner of the map as the New Horizon faction. We've seen him play this faction over and over again. He seems to be developing really strong strategies with them. It looks like it's probably one of his favourite factions. And in the northwest corner of the map we have Zigo playing as the Global Risk faction. Let's take a look. Oh, he's going for a lot of infantry, so he's got a forward barracks there. He's got quite a few troopers, and looks like he's going to be expanding to a second core base. But we see a worker coming forward for 01. We see him scouting a lot in this game, getting that valuable information, and he's going to see this worker there, know that his opponent is going to have a lot of troopers on the field, and is going for the core base there as an expansion. We see 01 already has expanded there, has got his core base up and running, 3 workers there, he's fully saturated. Well, yeah, he's got efficiently fully saturated his first core base and is heading out to his second. So economy wise, just like we may have seen, I may have uploaded a game between these two players already. In that game, 01 of course was playing as New Horizon, and Zigo was playing as the Blacklist. He switched to play as a Global Risk in a very similar sort of pattern of gameplay. Zigo was very aggressive with troopers, going for the second core base a little bit later than his opponent. But yeah, New Horizon and 01 going for that second core base first, and then defending with some sentry turrets and getting a double barracks for an opening. Is going to go and upgrade one of the barracks to be able to produce lichens, which are very strong as infantry units. We see the troopers going in now, and I think compared to the last game, the infantry for the now Global Risk player Zigo is coming in a lot faster, so it's putting the pressure a lot quicker. There are 3 sentry turrets there, and New Horizon and 01 is going to use a couple of workers here. Might use the null field technology as well. It's actually going to repair his turrets. Very interesting play, really nicely done there to protect his second core base. And even with these troopers, it's difficult for him to push, because now there is a ninja looking unit called the Vampire with the energy swords and lichen on the field as well. And now this second core base is buzzing away for the 01 player. He's just producing workers, and that macro and the economy is really going to pay off as the game goes on. And this early push is pushed back, and now it's really tough spot here for Zigo. This could kind of spiral out of control, because Zigo doesn't have a strong economy compared to his opponent, and an armory going down for some upgrades for his infantry, I suspect. I think, yeah, so 01 does this quite often. He gets an early R&D lab as well for upgrades to his infantry. I'm not sure if he's got the infantry or not, the upgrade, but he might quite well do. And he's going to get an upgrade to his core base to the second level to be able to get vehicular units. And looking very good for 01. He's got a very solid strategy. I can't wait for this full version of this game to come out. I think 01, I have to say, from the players I've seen so far, he's certainly going to be one of the best. I can't wait to see him in action when the full game comes out. Now we see a little bit of different strategy from Zigo here this time. Last game he went for a very infantry heavy type army composition. Now he's going to add in 2 factories to look for some vehicular input, and we do see 2 vampires and a lichen to come in, mostly probably for scouting rather than doing any sort of specific damage. But yeah, 01 keeping a tab on what his opponent's doing. This is usually about the time sometimes that we see 01 going for a third core base. It doesn't look like at the moment. I said it, I called it, maybe he's going forward for one, but he has also got a vehicle assembly on the field as well. And as you can see now, he's double producing the lichens from these 2 futuristic looking barracks, or well, they call it the infantry assembly for the New Horizon faction. He's getting a second R&D lab as well, probably to upgrade his vehicle units when they start to come out of this vehicle assembly. Right, so we see the third core base going down for 01, we called it, and the third core base going down for Zigo as well. He is going to manage to expand this time. In the last game he couldn't, and now it means that actually both players have a pretty good economy going. The infantry upgrade coming in for the Global Risk player, and we see now a Cavalier for the Global Risk faction. Right, now let's just take the opportunity to explain some of the units. We do have couple of Cavaliers on the field, and for the Global Risk faction, they are basically a light scout, and they're pretty good with their speed, and they can lay mines on the battlefield. This is really interesting. Look, we saw this in the last game as well, that 01 is putting down a sentry turret, which if the Global Risk player doesn't see, this sentry turret could be a total pain. Oh, on the left side of the map as well, oh my god, the lichens have coming in, and they have essentially jumped over. I don't know where all the workers went. Maybe he pulled the workers away, but I think we actually missed that, I'm afraid. I should have paid more attention to the minimap, but there's lots of things going on, and because of this he does push the sentry turret away, which is important, and he looks to be pushing away the Lycans as well. But I mean, 01 does such a great job at this. He expands himself to get a really strong economy, and then he harasses his opponent's one. And yeah, workers wise, it's just, you know, the workers down to 13 workers for, well, add in, actually to be fair, there's quite a few here, so 23 workers for the Blacklist player, but nothing back at home on the main core base. And that's a problem. He's got a couple of Cavaliers on the field, quite a lot of them, but they're kind of a light scout unit, so I don't know how much they will help. They do lay a lot of mines though, so that could be something he goes for. But he's going to try and attack the sentry turrets, but we see 01 using a null field and getting the 2 Lycans there to support, and yeah, really helps those units out. Well, the Cavalier doing a pretty good job, but the economy now, he's going to back it up with some troopers, which definitely needed to happen, because the Lycans are coming forward with their huge energy jetpacks. They are a great unit to look at, very strong as well. And but yeah, I mean, this is quite a nice micro. 01 is using the null field technology for his units there. And the Cavalier, this is good micro by the players. I think Lycans are going to be getting the better of the fight, forcing the fight back, the Cavaliers back out. But this is really good from a strategic point of view. As you saw, the Lycans just got a really massive health boost from the trio center here on their left, and really effectively now the Global Risk player is kind of down to 2 core bases. You can see on the minimap not much being produced here, only 2 workers, and whereas of course 01 is fully fledged on 3 core bases. I mean, the production is pretty impressive though for Ziggo, I have to say. It must have a very good functioning of his other 2 core bases. It does have 3 factories as well, producing the Cavalier, spamming them out. But it might need a kind of heavier armoured units if he's going to be able to take better trades and better fights. It does take down 1 sentry turret and is going back to the trio center, so he's got some map control here a little bit. Just making sure he keeps control of the trio center, continuously producing the Cavaliers. A really nice strategy here. I don't think I've seen this so far in the demo version of the game, this strategy of essentially Cavalier spam. Very, very nice play by the Global Risk faction. I wonder whether we'll see the Global Risk ability of Fire at Will, which is a really good ability for their Cardinal. We haven't seen it in this game just yet. We see 01 using the abilities quite well for the null field. Looks like 01's producing some workers to get the sentry turrets to replace them, just to shore up this 3rd core base. And actually, this is not necessarily a bad spot for 01. He's just, you know, constantly getting the materials from the facilities, but he is pushed back now, and this pressure is paying off with these Cavaliers. Cavaliers, pretty nice unit, I have to say. Wasn't expecting this. It's pushing the workers back. A lot of idle workers here. So whilst and not only that, the primary core base for the Global Risk player is going at full production and is getting the 3rd level upgrade. So we might see some air units, might be some transitions here for the Global Risk player to air units. Maybe a couple of Javelins, maybe a couple of Morning Stars, we'll see, but the numbers are paying off. And yeah, it's very difficult now for 01 to take effective fights here. It just doesn't have the numbers. The workers are dangerously working here though, and I suspect the Cavalier are going to work on the... Oh, I see why. We have a big boy. We have a Titan. Time to take off the UI so we can get some good looks at this. The Titan can shoot with some energy beams, which are incredibly powerful. These things are beastly to take down, but what I would say is that what's really interesting is the Global Risk player has got the 3rd level upgrade for his primary core base, which means he will be able to produce some air units, and that will be key to take down the Titans. The Titans cannot really deal with air units, and so now a switch to air units is probably what's needed here for the Global Risk player. Don't see any aerodromes or any sort of air producing units, the buildings for that for the Global Risk player just yet. He's upgrading his factory, maybe going for some tanks himself, maybe some phalanx perhaps, but I'm not sure. I suspect he will want to go for air units. He's going to sweep around actually. He's going to sweep around to this 2nd core base. Really nicely played there with all these Cavaliers, and he's going to take out the sentry turrets, and he's going to be able to take out the workers. Now this is one thing that the Global Risk player has done so well. The mobility for the Titan, nah, doesn't have it. Doesn't have mobility. I can even see that the Lycans aren't particularly fast either. They do they do have that jump attack, as you just see there, to get into position. But the Cavaliers are in great numbers, and he's taking really, really great fights. Great micro here from Ziggo. So fantastic. 2 Titans on the field. So Ziggo is going to need to be careful about this. He does need those air units to come in sooner or later. Otherwise, he will be under pressure by the Titans. The Titans probably could just go straight into the core bases for the Global Risk player, but it would be interesting to see what he does with that. They aren't the most, you know, fastest units on the field. They are making their way slowly but surely to that 3rd core base. Will we see some turrets? We do see a lot of logistics depot, so it will need to replenish these in case these get destroyed by these Titans, which are on the way. And the Cavalier sweep round to the 3rd core base to cause some more economic damage. Gets rid of the sentry turrets pretty easily. A couple of Lycans. The Lycans are staying at home for 0-1. 0-1 is under a lot of pressure here, and the Cavaliers can just take effective fights. As you saw there, guys, that was really impressive. The Lycans are essentially indestructible whilst they're in the air and using the jump attack. So that's something to bear in mind. That's why you saw all those Cavaliers shooting at it and didn't get any damage whatsoever. Oh, we see the 2 Titans there starting to make short work over this factory. There is a phalanx coming out of here, but I don't think it's going to be produced in time, that's for sure. But the Cavalier take care of the 3rd core base for New Horizon and 0-1, and now New Horizon 0-1 is being pushed. He's got to be careful here. It's going to be restricted to 2 core bases only, whereas for the time being, Ziggo has access to 3 core bases. Wow, that is a huge attack from the Titans. These Titans need to be dealt with. I don't see any air-producing buildings here for the Global Risk faction. Is going for factories, factories, factories. I don't know if that's the play, but we see the 0-1 using the radiation zone there. And yeah, Global Risk managed to back off there, managed to back off just in time. And we do see quite a lot of workers here being pulled back, vehicle assembly going down. What's this being produced? Another power node. Okay, so it looks like now the Cavaliers are going to head back to try and get rid of the Titans. 2 phalanx there, but don't forget as well, the Titans are just sitting here pretty on this triage center. This is quite a nice micro, spreading out the units for the Global Risk faction player so that he doesn't take massive area effect damage. But we'll need some air units, I suspect, to get rid of these Titans. Titans are being healed. It looks like this Titan might go down, which is a big boost for the Global Risk player. 1 Titan goes down. We see the stomp attack there for the other Titan on the phalanx there. And the other Titan goes down. This is huge for Global Risk. Those Titans are expensive. And now he has a solid army there going forward. Cavalier and phalanx to push forward, picking off the Lycans there that are straggling behind. Oh, there's a 3rd core base go down for 0-1. He's trying to establish a bit of control on this materials facility. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on to it. I don't know if the Global Risk faction has scouted that, but he will be making his way forward with a good number of Cavalier and a good number of phalanx. And I take it back. He doesn't need air units. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. He's going for mass phalanx, I suspect, from these factories. And the 3rd core base, another 500 materials going down the drain there for 0-1. Couldn't protect that very well. Titan having to be going back home and Lycans staying back home as well. But check these phalanx. Will we see the hull down ability? Not sure. Oh, not sure. Be interested to see if that happens, because the hull down would really help the phalanx here, which makes the phalanx take less damage, but of course means that they can't really move around so well. And the Cavalier are sweeping around on the right of this 2nd core base to start making work on the workers and the power nodes. And this is really good unit management here, although now he might be being caught out a little bit with the spreading of his army, but 2 Titans probably won't be a good match for about, I don't know, 6-7 phalanx there. There are 2 Titans on the field though. One just popped out there for New Horizon and 0-1. But there's a bit of a smaller fight here. The Lycans win that one. A stomp attack, I think, here. Charge and stomp. Yeah, these Titans are doing great work. And actually, I think maybe the the Global Risk player might have actually overextended here slightly. No, he doesn't. He gets both Titans down. It does lose a lot, but so does 0-1. And now this 2nd base is relatively unprotected, and we see really strong buzzing eco back at home for Ziggo. Ziggo going to be pushing hard now on this one. Might be the beginning of the end for 0-1 on this match, and this core base is likely to go down to the Phalanx. I suspect that was the GG there. I think we're going to see the drop for the game. There is the GG, guys. What a fantastic game. Absolutely pleasure to cast this game with you guys. Got plenty of other Crossfire Legion content coming up on the channel, so do stick around if you're interested. If you did like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Guys, see you next time.